Welcome to episode 9 of If Object Show hosts were charged for their crimes, the series where I explore the crimes of various Object Show hosts. Before we begin, I would like to ask you all to subscribe with notifications on, as it would be much appreciated. Round 1. Sky from Object Towel again. In the first episode, 2 challenges are held to determine the 20 contestants that will get to compete in the show for the towel. That means 13 get eliminated from the first challenge, and then 5 more get eliminated in the second challenge. When this happens, Iron Door is commanded by Sky to suck them into him, making this 18 counts of forced imprisonment, which is just fantastic! Thankfully, eliminations that occur episode by episode are not forced imprisonment again, but instead something much graver but more interesting. When they get eliminated, they get turned inanimate, which is definitely second-degree murder. 7 contestants get eliminated in this way throughout the season in total, so that's how many charges Sky will get. In episode 3 of Object Towel again, the challenge is to retrieve your teammates from an island. The way those contestants are put there is by force, so I think I will call this 13 counts of kidnapping, a class 5 felony in Virginia that warrants 10 years in prison. In Object Towel again episode 4, when Plastic Plate gets his prize for having immunity, it's Gelatin's freeze syringe. Obviously he's just frozen, not dead, so this is just an assault charge. The next crime is not for another 8 episodes. In OTA 12, Sky tries to turn several contestants that got eliminated while he was trapped in Iron Door into objects. However, he proves to be unable to do so for some reason, but the attempt was definitely there. In Object Towel again episode 14, Sky sends the remaining contestants into a volcano, from which they then have to escape. There's lava everywhere, and as we all know, lava kills. Or would it be magma? Iron Door says it's magma, at least. They are underground. Regardless, I'll count this as reckless endangerment. That's all of the crimes. Now, let's see the results. Object Towel again is a show that got me to laugh out loud more than a few times, and I am not ashamed to admit it. Anyways, Sky's punishment comes out to 7 life sentences,
276
years in prison, and a fine of
$1,220,000.
Pretty hefty given the low quantity of crimes committed. Round 2. Perfume from Village of Objects. Huh, a female host. Let's see what she's gotten up to. The first crime that Perfume commits is reckless endangerment. When it's time for the elimination in episode 2, she has the contestants stand on a platform and drops them in with ropes tied around them. What if the ropes had snapped? This is how eliminations are conducted for only 3 episodes. And between those episodes, all 15 contestants are dangled overall. Not more forced imprisonments. Sorry for my disappointment. Object Towel again was just a breath of fresh air, not imprisoning someone every episode, but only in the first. 4 counts of forced imprisonment are done in total, so there's not a lot of them at least. After Flaggy starts the intro in episode 3 and blames it on Clock, Perfume threatens to further break his frame if he does it again, even though he never did it in the first place. In episode 7, TV gets to rejoin the game with 118 votes, so she gets a prize. Unfortunately for her, it's a wheelchair to the face. I know Perfume immediately recovers her and that there were good intentions, but it's still a killing. Through expository dialogue, we learn that in November of 2019, Perfume killed Monitor off-screen. We do see Monitor's corpse in episode 8, but at that time it was unclear who actually killed them. She came clean about it to Orion though, so now we can charge her for it. I'll count this as having happened in episode 8 though. The combined sentence for the crimes of Perfume is pretty meager compared to the others. 2 life sentences, 20 years in prison, and a fine of $37,500. Round 3. Gray from Moss. The first thing that they do is that they crash their meteor into the island that all of the objects of the Mysterious Objects Super Show live on, and they all get killed as a result of it. Luckily for Gray, I highly doubt they had control over the meteor at all, so I think I can safely consider this just involuntary manslaughter on their part, even though it was undone. Presumably as a result of the energy that Gray used to get rid of the meteor, a stray lightning bolt comes down and strikes the recovery box, which is invaluable to the residents of the island. As a result, this gets the more severe property damage charge. Also, the first challenge is to keep out of the rain, which I think is a pretty creative one to be honest. That said, Gray also encourages the contestants to attack each other over the 3 umbrellas that there are for them to use to protect themselves from the 5 hours of rain. So, I think this could be considered 54 counts of incitement, which is how many contestants there are. That's a lot. Since Inklings are known to not really be great with water, the rain could also be considered reckless endangerment for the Inkling that's in this show. Speaking of reckless endangerment, when there's an hour left in the challenge, Gray decides to start summoning lightning bolts, which are obviously real because Charged Creeper gets affected to strike the contestants. I might have miscounted, but I'm pretty sure I counted 7 thunderbolts in total. During episode 2's elimination, Gray throws the brownie a little bit too hard towards Seedless Grape, and she falls off of the floating platform that she's standing on as a result. Since Gray recovers her afterwards, we know that she died as a result of the fall, making this involuntary manslaughter. We don't actually know how AirPod gets eliminated exactly, whether that's imprisonment or death. I'll count it as second-degree murder, I think, though, since it kind of looks like the sphere is absorbing his life essence and killing him in the process. Even though Team I Forgot ended up being safe, Thimble complains to Gray that their teammates were being super lazy. So, Gray takes care of this by setting them all ablaze. I think that's everything. I sure hope I didn't miss anything at least. Let's see the crime scroll then. Altogether, across just 2 episodes surprisingly, Gray's punishment comes out to a life sentence, 1,110 years in prison, and a total fine of $177,500. Bonus round. Vegan gains from Thanos. Since Spongy iPad Case decided to be an absolute poo by deciding to point out that Vegan Gains had just spawned the magnifying glass machines in at that moment, he has his leaves turn into a giant hand and slaps Spongy iPad Case into the ground, which is an assault charge. A little bit later into the episode, Hammer decides that they hate the challenge, so asks Vegan Gains if they can be excused from continuing to participate in it. Although Vegan Gains says they can, he claps his hands and causes Hammer to get turned into whatever this is. More assault, how fun! Since Thanos only has one 3-minute episode, that's all for this segment. I'm not even gonna bother with a crime scroll this time. His sentence is 2 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. Even for the duration, I'm slightly disappointed, but oh well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.